Hi everyone, welcome to this session. And in this session, hi everyone, welcome to this session. Sorry for that, apologies. I hope I hope you are all joining. Keep joining learners as we are starting this session. Welcome. Now, I hope you've joined. I want to discuss question number 17 that was set in Kcse paper 1 2017, and the question is from equations of a straight line and gradients. Now, before we start the discussion, kindly please subscribe, and for any inquiries, I'm leaving out my number so that you can reach out. 07 41 30 43 11. That is the number. In case you have anything that you want to get clarification on, and for more revision materials, you can reach out. So let's get into the question. Two lines L1 whose equation is 2y minus 3x minus 6 is equals to 0, and L2 with the equation 3y plus x minus 20 is equals to 0 intersect at a point A. Find the coordinates of point A. Find the coordinates of point A. Dear learners, you realize that point A is the point of intersection of the two lines. And for us to get the equation of the, for us to get the coordinates of the intersectory points, we simply solve the two equations simultaneously. So this equation of line 1 can be written as 2y minus 3x. If I take the constant -6 to the other side of the equal sign, it will be equal to 6. That is the equation of line 1. The equation of line 2, we are having 3y plus x, and I take my constant to the right hand side of the equal sign. I'm going to get it being equal to 20. I want to use elimination method to solve the two simultaneous equations. I'm going to take the coefficient of y on the first equation and pre-multiply it on the second equation, that is 2. And I take the coefficient of y on the lower equation and pre-multiply it to the upper equation, that is 3. Dear learners, what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to make the y values here the same and eliminate now my y. So 3 times 2y, we are going to get 6y minus 3 times 3x, that will be 9x, should be equal to 3 times 6, that will be 18. 3 times 6, that will be 18. On the lower equation, 2 times 6y, that will be, 2 times 3y, that will be 6y, plus 2 times x, that will be 2x, being equal to 2 times 20, that is 40. 2 times 20 is 40. To eliminate the y, I'm going to do subtraction. 6y minus 6y become a 0, therefore they disappear. Negative 9x minus positive 2x. Negative 9x minus positive 2x, that will be I want to be very keen, and I'm hoping that you as my learners, you are very smart enough to tell exactly what we have to do. Keep joining, keep joining. I'm trying to wait for others also. I'm trying to wait for others. 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 So we proceed. 9 negative 9x minus positive 2x, that will be negative 11x, should be equal to 18 minus 40. 18 minus 40, we are getting negative 22. Negative 22. So having that, now I have negative 11x is equals to negative 22. I want to remain with x. I can divide by both sides by negative, I can divide both sides by negative 11. I also divide here by negative 11. I also divide this side by negative 11. The negative 11 and the negative 11 cancels. Negative 11 here once, negative 11 here twice. So I'm getting the value of x as 2. I'm getting the value of x as 2. How do I get the value of y? I can substitute maybe to my equation 1. Remember, my equation 1 was of the form 2y minus 3x was equal to 6. But I've obtained x as 2, so I can substitute. I'll now be having 2y minus 3 into 2 being equal to 6. So this will be 2y minus 6 being equal to 6. Then I'm going to do collection of like terms. This negative 6 moves here and becomes positive 6. It moves to the other side and becomes positive 6. Once it becomes positive 6, now we are having 2y being equal to 6 plus 6. 2y being equal to 6 plus 6. Then it means that our 2y is equals to 12 in that case. I want to remain with y. I divide here by 2. I divide this side here also by 2. So after the division, I'm going to get y is equals to 6. Y is equals to 6. Now, the values for x and y simply refers the coordinates of A, because now they want the coordinates of A. The coordinates of A are 2, 6. The x coordinate followed by the y coordinate. That's how we get the coordinates of A. That's how, learners, we get the coordinates of point A. That's how we get the coordinates of point A. We proceed to we proceed with our working. We proceed with our working. A third line L3 is perpendicular to L2. A third line L3 is perpendicular to L2 at a point A. Find the equation of L3 in the form y is equals to mx plus c. Find the equation of M3 in the form of y is equals to mx plus c. Remember that we've been told that L3 is perpendicular to L2 at a point A. Let's look at equation of L2, learners. When we look at the equation of L2, it was a 3y plus x minus 20 is equals to 0. Remember our L2 was having 3y, let me just confirm, plus x minus 20 plus x minus 20 is equals to 0. That is the equation of L2. If that is now the equation of line L2, I want to write this equation in form of y is equals to mx plus c. So this is going to be 3y is equals to, these others will cross over. This will be now negative x plus 20. When they cross over, they equal sign. I'm interested with getting my y. So my y is now going to be, I divide through by 3. I'm going to have negative a third x plus 20 over 3. Remember, m is always your gradient. So our gradient in this case is being given by negative a third. That is our gradient. Our gradient is negative a third. Once we know that this is our gradient, this is the gradient of line L2. That is the gradient of line L2, remember? Now, because they say L2 and L3 are perpendicular, and for perpendicular lines, remember, the products of their gradients should be equal to negative 1. That is m1 times m2 is equals to negative 1. So if my m1 is negative a third, so I'll have here negative a third, m2 should be equal to negative 1. How do I get m2? I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal. I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal. That is, I'll multiply here by 1 over negative, sorry, by 3 over negative 1. Also here by 3 over negative 1. Such that this one and this one cancels, this one and this one disappear. We are going now to get our m2 being equal to, the negative and the negative here cancels. Our m2 is going to be 3. This m2 is the gradient for line 3, remember. That is the gradient for line 3. They intersect at a point A. They intersect at a point A. Our point A is 2, 6. Learners, in Form 2, we learned on how we can get the equation of a line given one of the points and the gradient. Because the gradient of that line is 3, we said you introduce another point, call it xy. Now apply the formula for getting gradient, because you know gradient which is 3 is obtained by taking change in y, that is y minus 6, over change in x, that is x minus 2, like that. Then you cross multiply. When you cross multiply, you're going to get y minus 6 is equals to 3 into x minus 2, like that. When you open the bracket, this is going to be y minus 6 is equals to 3x minus 6. 3x minus 6. When you rearrange, you're going to get y is equals to 3x minus 6. Now, this negative 6 here will cross the sign and become positive 6. Remember, it will cross over and become positive 6. So this will be now plus 6. So y is equals to 3x. Y should be equal to 3x in that case. Y is equals to 3x, because minus 6 plus 6 is a 0. So that is the equation of that line. That is the equation of the line in the form of y is equals to mx plus c. In the form of y is equals to mx plus c, we are getting the equation of that line L3 as y is equals to 3x. Let's look at question C, part C of the question. They are saying another line L4 is parallel to L1 and passes through this point negative 1, 3. Negative 1, 3. Find the x and the y intercepts of line L4. So let's look at first the equation of line L4. Let's get equation. I want to get equation of line L4. Equation of our line, sorry, not L4 but L1. Because they are relating, L1 and L4 are parallel. So equation of line L1, we get it from the top here. L1 was 2y minus 3x minus 6. 2y, we had 2y minus 3x minus 6 being equal to 0. Being equal to 0. Being equal to 0. Let's write this equation in form of y is equals to mx plus c. Remember, whenever you write an equation in form of y is equals to mx plus c, then this m is always the gradient. The coefficient of x, learners, normally gives us the gradient. So this will be 2y. When we write it, it will be now 2y is equals to 3x plus 6. 2y is equals to 3x plus 6. 2y is equals to 3x plus 6. I want to remain with y. I have to divide through by 2. I divide this by 2, by 2, by 2. I'm now going to get y is equals to 3 over 2x plus 3. Then the gradient, it means that the gradient of line L1 is this coefficient of x. So the gradient of L1 is 3 over 2. Now, because they say that the two lines here, learners, are parallel, because the two lines are parallel, we all know that for parallel lines, the gradient is the same. Then it means gradient, it simply means that gradient of line L1 should be equal to the gradient of line L4, which should be equal to 3 over 2. Parallel lines, learners, share the same gradient. So they share that gradient, which is 3 over 2. Once now we've realized that they share the same gradient and we have one of the points, we still apply the same principle that given one of the points, that is -1, 3, and you have your gradient as 3 over 2, you have to introduce another point, we call it xy, and with the help of that point you've introduced, you will be able to form an equation. Gradient, remember learners, gradient is given by change in y over change in x. So this gradient, which is 3 over 2, is being given by change in y, which is y minus 3, over change in x, which is x minus -1. X minus -1. X minus -1. So this is going to be 3 over 2 should be equal to y minus 3 over x plus 1. Here you can even do cross multiplication. You can do cross multiplication, and when you're doing your cross multiplication, you are now going to have 2 into y minus 3 should be equal to 3 into x plus 1. 3 into x plus 1. So opening the brackets, dear learners, we are going to have 2y minus 6 is equal to 3x plus 3. That is what we are going to have. Taking this constant to the other side, because taking that constant, remember it is -6 on this side. Coming here is going to be plus 6. Coming there is going to be plus 6. So having said that, we are going to be left here with 2y being equals to 3x plus 3 plus 6. So 2y being equals to 3x plus 9. That is the equation of line L4. This is the equation of line L4. Remember, this is the equation of line L4. This one, this is the equation of line L4. Line L4. Now, after we've obtained the equation of line L4, dear learners, after we've obtained the equation of line L4, to get the x and the y intercepts, we know that the x and the y intercepts, this is the point where the line is cutting the x and the y axis respectively. So we know in x-intercept learners, y is equals to 0. So when you substitute to your equation where there is y with a 0, so this will be now 2 into 0 should be equals to 3x plus 9. So 0 is equals to 3x plus 9. So negative 3x is equals to 9, meaning x is equals to negative 3. That is the value for x. The x-intercept is negative 3. Let's get the y-intercept. You know that in y-intercept, x is equals to 0. So you will have 2y is equals to 3 into 0 plus 9. So 2y is equals to 9, meaning that y is equals to 4.5, meaning that y is equals to 4.5. Y is equals to 4.5, and that is your y-intercept. The y-intercept is 4.5. So by doing it like that, learners will have gotten your intercepts. Remember now that our intercepts, we are having this as our intercept. We are also having x being equals to negative 3 as our intercept. And by doing it like that, we would have answered the whole of that question and gotten all the 10 marks correct. So learners, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon, and also share the link to your friends so that they may also enjoy the sessions. Remember that at the top here we have our service number, that was 0741304311. Keep revising mathematics because it's key to many career opportunities. See you in our next session. Goodbye for now.